the top 5 things that you need to know before you take your trip. When planning your trip, there are 5 things that you need to know for sure. Number 5, well, obviously you need to know it, is where are you going? Where do you want to go? So when planning your trip, of course, where are you going is the first thing you need to know of the 5 things that you need to know. Are you so picky that you can't go anywhere? You have to have specific spots? Or are you one of those people who could just randomly pick a spot on the map, throw a dart, hit it, say, that's where I'm going? Understand, when you do that, you're putting yourself up for an adventure. And there's nothing wrong with an adventure. But if you're not prepared for it, you could have an adventure you're not ready for. Okay. Number 4. How are you going to get there? How are you going to get from where you live to where you're traveling? There are so many variables here. Sometimes your trip's as easy as walking down the street, and other times your trip is as difficult as catching a train, then getting on a plane, flying over, catching a boat, catching another boat. I mean, it can be complex. It's not always easy. It isn't as easy as flying from here to London. If your trip is just an adventure, sometimes you're going to have to plan for car rentals or taxis or trains. All those things could happen to you. Do you want that to happen? Do you want to be prepared for that? Or do you want to just be surprised? And it is all about your attitude about it. How surprised you want to be when you go on a trip. Number 3. Where are you gonna stay? Listen, I'm no young punk anymore. I'm an old punk. And I don't like to stay just anywhere. When I was younger, just put me on a couch, I'll sleep. It didn't matter. But I'm approaching a certain age that I want a little bit more ease of use. I don't want to have to fight for my place to stay. And I also don't want to fight with some of the things that you can find that would give you a problem, like a dirty facility, dirty beds, filthy, I just can't help it, I'm talking about dirt. But not just dirt, location. We stayed in London a few years back, and it was great. We had a great time. We stayed in an Airbnb kind of towards Wembley Stadium. Most everything that we were doing was in the center of town. It wasn't a terrible long train ride, but if I were to do it again, I would stay closer to town because I don't want to be on public transportation for 30 minutes every day, both directions, going where I'm going. So I look for the places that are closest to where I want to be. In London, I like to stay a little bit closer to Hyde Park. I love to walk through there. It's beautiful. Lots of stuff to do in there just to relax. People are walking by. It's peaceful to me, and it's easy to get anywhere from Hyde Park. So, if you're adventurous, maybe staying outside of town and taking the train in every day is more your thing. Or maybe you don't want to be in town. Maybe you're staying in one of the smallest places in the Highlands of Scotland and you got yourself an Airbnb. Well, then you're going to have to rent a car. So location is everything. You have to remember that provides its own set of difficulties. And that's fine if you're adventurous. If you're not, ease of use. Number 2. Dun, 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 dun. Number 2, what are you going to do when you get there? It's one thing to say, hey, I am flying to Switzerland. I just want to enjoy the sights. Yeah, who doesn't want to see the beauty of Switzerland? The Alps are amazing, Many of the cities are beautiful. They're just gorgeous. What is it you want to do? You have to plan another level when you go on these trips. It isn't just, today I'll do this and tomorrow I'll do that. A lot of times there are scheduling conflicts. And if you have scheduling conflicts, you had better be prepared. Always looking to the future and how can you do this with the least amount of stumbling blocks is the best way to do it. So preparation is huge. So this summer I'm going to Italy and I'm going to England and Scotland and Devon, maybe even some Wales this summer. When I'm in Scotland, I'm planning on going on a trip I missed last time I was there. I wanted to go up into the Highlands of Scotland. I wanted to go to Loch Ness. I wanted to see a lot of things in Scotland I didn't get to see. I had scheduled a trip last time and they canceled on me. I was ready to go. They canceled on me. So I'm like, I'm not missing it twice. But here's the thing. A lot of these little side tours sell out fairly early. And if you're trying to get into them late, you may have missed the boat on something you've always wanted to do. Don't miss the boat. Be prepared before you go. That way you're not sitting there regretting that you missed doing something you always wanted to do in the location you're going to. Be prepared. Figure out what you're going to do. Sure, there will be days, depending on how long you're there will be days that you want unscheduled. But even those unscheduled days, you might say, well, today I guess when we wake up, we'll decide. I'm going to wake up, then I'm going to drive to some small town. Well, you better know where you're going. You better figure out why you're going to that small town. You're going to need to know a little bit about how to get around there. Preparation is key. You need to know enough so you don't put yourself in a situation you regret later. Maybe that small town has nothing to offer for you and you just wasted some time. Always doing research or having somebody else do the research for you according to your likes and needs. Number 1, drum roll. Bad drums. Number 1, you need to know how much it's going to cost. I'm not independently wealthy. I'm not sure you're independently wealthy. But understanding how much each part of your trip is going to cost will save you a lot of time on whether you can go there or not. If you want to go there, you better know how much it costs to do things when you get there. There are places that cost more. I say Switzerland, Norway costs a bit more. Places that cost less. Sometimes Spain, Italy, Portugal. Portugal's great, by the way. Great cost. Great. The amount of money you spend there is relatively less expensive, but that's another story. Make sure you know how much it's going to cost before you go. Because I know a lot of people don't get past the airline tickets cost this much or the hotel costs this much. There are extra expenses. Safe bet. Now, I'm not a huge eater, but I do love eating. I love my food. I don't need expensive food all the time. So my wife and I are pretty inexpensive every day. We're probably 20 euros each in Europe, 25 pounds each in England per day. Most people and most sites suggest that you save up 40 euros or 45 pounds at least a day to eat. On a 10-day trip, that could be $600 US. That's an expense you might not be planning on. You're planning on a way to feed yourself when you're there. And if it's Italy, you need that extra money for gelato. Every day I'm spending 6 euros on gelato, having 2 or 3 cups. Oh, I have this gelato obsession and I need to work on it. I have this gelato fetish, I guess, for lack of a better term, and I guess it fits with Nerdgasmic Adventures. Other things that may cost you money is transport around where you're going, or it may cost you more money for sites, tours, things like that. Taking a Segway, renting a bicycle, catching a cab. By the way, cabs are great in Europe getting to and from hotels. A lot of times you'll look and they'll say shuttle provided and they'll charge you 30 euros a person. If you do Uber, their car services, they've got different names over in Europe. You may pay 30 euros for the both of you. So you might save half on what you're doing. After mentioning all those things, I'm going to remind you, I have just started a company called Nerdgasmic Adventures. And you can go to nerdgasmicadventures.com, and it's going to be running along right here. If you're interested in going on either our Nerdgasm in Italy tour, June 2nd through June 12th this year, or if you're interested in going on our Nerdgasm in England and Scotland tour from June 23rd through July 2nd. Please check us out on our website. We'd love to have you. But stay tuned here for more helpful information about traveling.